awesome what I think about the fact that, yeah, you said that the military training and the one thing that, because the PG-13 aspect of the comic book movies is, I mean, comics have blood in them. As kids, we were able to buy them, and not that blood makes everything, but it adds to it. And there's with the Punisher, and I think seeing what they got away with, what Fox Studios got away with Logan and Deadpool, they were like, you know what? Yeah, there's only one way to have this happen.
I think that they're going to start experimenting with going super R and moving away from the movie theaters, because I think that people are just kind of over the movie style of storytelling, and they want the long form with the story arcs.
Yeah, because they're good. Yeah, because they're gonna watch everything that comes out. They don't need to have everything wrapped up in a neat little bow, and like you see them doing that with Infinity War already. They're like, we know this is gonna have to be a 2-parter, and so they're willing to.
Yeah, it's too much story to tell in a 2-hour format. That's what my beef with DC has always been, is the way they structure their characters. It's impossible to tell a DC character story in a 2-hour format. Like, it's just not going to be any good, and you're going to have to take a lot of liberties the way they did with Batman, because that Batman franchise was basically Batman in name only. Like, they completely missed the detective part of it. They missed the part where he's an actual like ninja detective, because a real Batman story should read like Casino Royale kind of, that same kind of style of action and pacing.
Because they tried to. I think when movies and comics kind of come together, you get that, because movie is a rushed product. I mean, not in the way that's made, because I have friends that make movies, but the way that movies are made, everything is tie up in a neat little bow. Right. But the way that, especially with more modern movies, they know they're going to be able to milk a sequel out of it. Right. But going into with Punisher as a Netflix series. These Netflix series have an awesome vibe to it. Like you're watching Showtime, or you're watching a paid premium movie channel, and they have that great vibe of like, we can go where we want with it. And so Punisher looks so damn good, and I think
I think they're modeling this Punisher off of the late 90s Marvel Knights run of Punisher. It was like a completely different style of. He was more of an assassin.
Yeah, they're willing to. I was gonna grab it for the sake of this, but like they did the Punisher Max movies in the mid 2000s.
I missed that one. I meant to watch it, and then I just completely forgot about it. But I heard it was really good. I really didn't like the one with Travolta in it. I tried watching it many times.
Dolph Lundgren was dope as Punisher back in the 80s.
That's right.
He kills, like, I had this conversation with my friend Jeff Zarling. We used to talk about it. We'd be like, dude, like, he kills like 500 people in that movie. Like, he just...
I remember they would show that on TV, like, very unedited. And, do you remember the Punisher Nintendo game?
Yes, it was hard.
It was fun. It was one of the most addicting Nintendo games that I could remember.
That was the one that was like a beat 'em up, right?
It was just like a side scroller first person shooter, I think, where you just shoot things.
Yeah, they did. Because I was watching a thing about arcade. They did an arcade game even that didn't get a big run, where Punisher was also. If anybody's watching this, spread the word out there. They should make a Defenders game with like Punisher in it, and have it be like how X-Men was. It had 6 players. They should make a game that has like Iron Fist, Luke Cage, all those, where you just sit there and beat up your way through a level. Like, if you want arcades to come back, that kind of game, that would be fun.
Like the multiplayer interactive games?
Yeah, like how they have Ninja Turtles at World 1 Games, like how the Simpsons game used to be, and...
They had a bunch of those style of games. They had the Ninja Turtle one, and they had the Simpsons one.
Yeah.
The Simpsons one was really nostalgic. Missed that one.
Double Dragon was one of the only reasons that I even bought a Nintendo.
Okay, so you watched both trailers of the Punisher, right?
There's only one trailer.
There's 2 now.
There's
2.
I didn't see the second.
You watched the first one? What did you like about it?
Well, first off, the Metallica thing, like, because, well, being a music fan, knowing the story behind one. The story behind, if you don't know Metallica, for those few who maybe don't know, but the story behind the song One, do you know the story behind it?
Yeah, it's about a soldier that gets caught in a landmine and he loses all his senses.
Yeah, he pretty much is like...
I've seen the movie, I just can't remember what it's called.
Johnny's Got a Gun or something, or
I don't remember
something. Oh man, so someone will correct us on here, but they did a really good job creating a whole vibe of like, ooh, it's gonna be dark. It's gonna be, but it's gonna. Because that's kind of what the Punisher is. He's kind of like a guy with a death wish, but until his death wish gets filled, he's gonna go just ruin people.
Yeah.
And I love that there's gonna be apparently there's gonna be like a government story tied behind all of it, possibly, and it's gonna be interesting. It might be looking ahead. It might be some of Netflix's best work, and I think that. One of the only things that really perpetuated is they saw how good Punisher being part of Daredevil made Daredevil, because
that saved season 2 for me. Like, I didn't like season 2 at all.
No. Like, they made Daredevil kind of, well, yeah, Daredevil's kind of not. He's very. Like, he don't want to kill. He was a really cool person to having. Like, when Daredevil was in, like, a Spider-Man comic, or he was gonna be in a comic with someone else, I was like, I'm reading that. I'm getting that. But then, Daredevil moved kind of slow in season 2, like...
The parkour was all taken out? Well, the first one was... The choreography for the first one was completely lifted out of a bunch of Korean movies. The Raid, Old Boy... you can tell where he was, the inspirations were coming from, and then they kind of ran out of ideas, like, towards the end of the first season. Well, what do you think they could have fixed from the Punisher trailer? Or what are your...
It's hard to say, because I feel like they... It's hard to say only because I think they learned from mistakes they made in other Marvel Netflix series is.
Yeah, cause,
like, they already knew what they did wrong in Defenders, Dragon.
Yeah, because they got the Netflix Marvel shows like have a very clear formula of the traditional tropes of storytelling, where it's like the hero that gets taken out of his comfort zone, and then he keeps coming back and forth, and then I don't get why they have to keep including the comedic relief, and then the hot girl, that's the thing they always go back to. That's just, it's weird. It's weird that they did that. Like in
I said earlier, in Defenders, they're all horrors, and they have to always touch on that. Like, it almost made it like a...
I think that HBO did that paradigm shift where now, if you're going to have a long story arc, you have to be titillating like that.
You have to have the episode where someone bones down.
Yeah, that's literally how they transition.
Like, oh, it's time for the bone down episode.
Yeah, it's literally how they transition between the story arc and the Beast story, where they have that... They don't know how to end the arc in the middle of the episode, and then they have that thing to keep your attention where, oh, Areola, and then they move on to the new story arc, the Beast story.
I do think that because Jessica Jones won awards and was so good, it really helped them decide, okay, that's how we want to do Punishers. We can have this broken, troubled hero that people are gonna dig, and if the right person is playing it, like Jessica Jones changed how. And
I heard that what's his name had to fight to keep him from being likable. Like he fought to keep him dark, because they wanted to make him like the Daredevil, where he keeps jumping back and forth between his dark side and his light side, which is just lazy writing to me. But
well, it's kind of the comic dynamic is. I was thinking about this before we got on here too. Is I keep looking this way because my comics are over here. But Punisher is somebody who, when he makes appearances in comics, like, they always seem to have him into. It depends on who they pair him with. Like, when they pair him with, like, Spider-Man, or they're doing it to bring a darker side to it, to show how gnarly he is. But then,
I think the underpowered superheroes tend to be more pliable for creative storytelling than the superpowered ones, because they're so overpowered. That's why I think that Spider-Man that's like his bread and butter, that he has powers kinda, but not really.
That makes sense, because he always has that to fall back on. Like, well, when in doubt, I could just ruin crap. Well, some of my favorite comics are, there's a series, Punisher and Wolverine, and we won't get to see that ever put together because of the studios, but that was a dynamic where it's like, ooh, like, those got gnarly.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, there's the one where he's going up against Dakin.
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen that one? That one, like Wolverine's son, and they're like trying to kill each other.
Oh, I have that whole series. I could totally go off on Dakin, and it's. I won't even go into that tangent. Like, we are gonna do a episode where we compare our comic collections. Like he's looking too. I see it.
Yeah.
Cause I got boxes over here. Like.
Well, you're more of a Marvel guy, and I'm more of a DC guy, so
you'd be able to kind of. It'd be cool to put them together and show. All right, because if we're gonna talk DC, go through his collection and.
Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much all we have to say on the Punisher.
Yeah,
right?
it's gonna let us know what you think, what you're excited for, what you're scared for. But it looks so badass. I don't know what you could be scared for. But if we're talking about being scared for something, is Lara Croft. She doesn't bobble, but she bobbles. But haha. They're doing another Tomb Raider movie, and George was the one who brought this up to me about talking about. But I've played the games, and
I've never played a single game.
I want to start out by saying when Tomb Raider first came out, and you'll see that people have touched on it on YouTube, but this is our turn. It was fun at the time to go, okay, like the physics in the game, you could do some pretty crazy stuff in terms of having to make these obnoxious jumps, and it was like a frustrating Super Mario Brothers where you're like, okay, she can't run as fast, she can't. They made it pretty realistic for in terms of she can only do so much, but you're gonna have to work with it. The game dynamic at the time was cool. My brother and I would sit there and, oh, you got to make her make this jump, and if you didn't, you fell and ate crap and had to work your way all back up and try it again, like going down a water slide. It got frustrating, but it was also fun because the shooting dynamic was cool. It was a good game. If you play it now and pit it up against other games, you're going to be like, what the hell is he talking about? And I can't argue because it paved the way for things, but like Devil May Cry kind of, or like God of War, those mechanics are forgotten on how much they changed the scope of games for their... Because then you play them now and look back. But as a movie, that's why I wanted to do this.
Would I be way off in saying that she's supposed to be like a female Indiana Jones?
No, not at all. It's exactly what it looks like.
My beef with the trailer is that she looks super petite. And if she's that petite, I know they're going to want to have her beat up man, like, physically. Because that's just what they always do. And that's going to ruin the movie for me. So if they just do what they do with Indiana Jones, where he has very few fighting scenes, and if he does, he's kind of like Jackie Chan, where he figures out some creative way to overpower the much bigger adversary, then that'd be fine.
Well, they do. That's funny you said, because I just watched the preview before we did that, and it looks like when they try to implement elements of the game, sometimes things just don't translate right. Like Street Fighter is the best example of how terrible that can go. But for the Tomb Raider preview, they show a lot of her trying to figure out puzzles and stuff, and that happened in the game. The two things was puzzle solving and just obnoxious jumps. And they show like 3 obnoxious jumps, and like they show her solving puzzles just to even get the story kickstarted.
I think they're trying to bring back that Hong Kong wire thing. I've seen a couple of trailers where they're using it. I mean, Black Panther uses it a lot.
Yeah, like what's the like Ong Bak and stuff, and the mean old.
Yeah,
yes.
I figured we'd move past that at this point, but no.
You're gonna do it with her, like she's like, see, they have her go like.
Everybody was.
And it stops like right there and ends the preview.
Everybody was hating on the trailer the fact that when she jumps, she makes those sexual noises. But I was told that that's part of the game.
It is. Yeah, it's in the game. Well, okay, like I'll say it as a dude that like played. The first thing people thought about when they played Tomb Raider and they got into it quick was like, I want to see your tits, because they made her obnoxiously like big tittied, like they did it with Psylocke.
But they were like those weird cone shaped.
Yeah, they look like weapons. They look like blimps, and
it's
it was
the Madonna cone boobs.
It was obnoxious. Like it was even as a prepubescent, I even thought then, I was like, okay, this is obnoxious. Like they're the only reason people are willing to keep doing these jumps is because they're sitting there playing on our polygon fetish. Like, oh,
I
snap,
hated the
like,
polygon stuff in the beginning. The
Yeah.
only reason I got into PlayStation and all that polygon stuff was because of Resident Evil 2. If it wasn't for Resident Evil 2, I'd still be playing Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I still find myself getting into retro games still more than anything.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to the movie, and I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. It looks good.
It's gonna be interesting because of the fact that I have a. We're gonna do another filming at World 1-1 where the main topic, and we'll tell you guys this now so you can start talking to us ahead of time and let us know what we want to throw in, that how terrible video game movies are. And the only one that Resident Evil was a good video game movie. Like, so many of them are so terrible, and the only video games that make good movies possibly is something that already was a tantalizing story in the game.
There's a reason for that. Are you aware of the reason why there's so many bad video game movies?
It may be, but I'm wondering where you're going with this. I want to see.
There's an actual legitimate reason why there's so many bad video game movies. There's some kind of a law in Europe that where they to encourage movie production, they do some kind of a tax cut thing. So like if you spend so much money on a movie and you get a certain amount of eyeballs on it, I'm probably butchering this, but it's kind of like in that direction. If you get a certain amount of eyeballs on it, the government will reimburse you for what you spent. So there was this guy that was buying properties that were household names, but that he could buy for cheap, and he would purposely make them bad,
so they didn't make the money
because
back.
He could tell he could tell the government, look, it's this thing that everybody knows, and it should have been a hit, but it wasn't. So the government gives him money, so he profits off that.
There's the movie break thing, like Monster.
You can find better explanations all over YouTube.
Well, it's okay, like that movie Monster Truck that has
The dude that pays MacGyver.
Yes, I can't. He was also in X-Men. He was
the Point Break remake, right?
I think he was. I'm trying to think. Lucas Till.
Yeah, I think he was Keanu Reeves.
They already put ahead of time that, hey, this movie Monster Truck is gonna be so terrible that they went ahead and they filed all the paperwork to not have to. They did the same thing around here where they're like, we made this, but we know it's gonna suck, so we're gonna take a hit on it, and it totally explains it, like why because I don't think they make money off the merchant. Usually these video game movies create a merchandising, like when Street Fighter came out. Shalane hadn't seen Street Fighter, so I was like, hey, watch this, like watch how terrible this is. But what it spawned,
was it terrible? I don't remember it being terrible. I just remember it wasn't great.
Well, you have to watch it and keep it and not take it serious. The first thing that I hate about Street Fighter, I can't remember talking about this, but Guile shouldn't have been played by Jean-Claude Van Damme because he's good visual, not to listen to.
That's what he was like.
It's super cheesy.
The king of action movies, though.
But they did a really good thing having...
Van Damme was the king of action movies in the early 90s.
If we're talking toys and stuff, the Street Fighter movies spawned a whole chain of Street Fighter G.I. Joes that like flew off the shelves, and they were cool to have Street Fighter G.I. Joes. Yeah, they were dope. They made an E-Honda, and I
had Guile and Sagat.
I had all of them because that's how I am. I'm like that. I was all dorky, but it spawned a video game.
The video game was horrible.
Yeah, they did it. They tried to do a live stop motion.
Look up the game. It's pretty horrible. That was way in its infancy of that kind of technology, though.
But the first Mortal Kombat movie was decent. Like the fighting in it, they I thought they tried too hard to implement the fatality stuff into it.
The best execution of a video game to movie is the fight scene between Johnny Cage and Scorpion. That is the best execution of that.
Yeah, that was a pretty good. I
would have been good just watching that scene. I would have been good.
You know what ruined Mortal Kombat was Mortal Kombat Annihilation. The fact they made a second one that was terrible. As
a form of self-preservation, my brain actually eliminated that memory from my brain. All I remember is the part where Shao Kahn shows up in like the hologram, and he's like, "Oh, we're coming to get you," and then the ground starts shaking, and they start the war.
Oh, it's terrible. Like they try to weave the animality thing into it, and oh god, it's terrible.
I don't remember that.
And welcome. By the way, welcome Jackson, welcome Alan and Kristen. How you guys doing? Welcome aboard.
So, what do you think about to finish off with the Lara Croft? You good or you're not holding your breath?
Because I don't even think Tomb Raider pittered off into the Tomb Raider movie. The game franchise has died a slow, horrible death. I don't have much hopes for it, but maybe there's a hope that, okay, it's dead for a while, and they have all these video game movie mistakes to learn from, that, okay, maybe we can make a good video game movie if...
Yeah. I don't think that borrowing from existing properties is ever going to end, because they've been attempting to create new content, and it's been bombing really bad.
Oh yeah, there's never. It's always gonna be going.
Blade Runner bombed, right? The new Blade Runner bombed really bad, right?
I don't know, because what I heard.
Do you know anybody that watched it?
Yeah, my buddy Elijah Sorrow. He went on Facebook and was like, "Dude, it's awesome." Like, he said it's dope. He said it was everything that. And I don't know that many Blade Runner fans, so I wasn't.
I've never seen the first Blade Runner. It's just esoteric stuff, right?
Yeah, it's like a. Well, I want to say it's kind of like a. It's like a futuristic.
It's like Ghost in the Shell.
Yes, that okay. I'll allude to it. I'll give them their credit, even though they make their money. Go watch the honest trailer for it. There's a group called Screen Junkies that makes these episodes called Honest Trailers. If you don't want to watch a movie, or if you've seen a movie and want to see a good take on it, go watch Honest Trailers, because they'll save you the 2 hours it takes to watch a movie. They'll show you everything you need to know in a very humorous way. They have great takes on, like, the Disney movies. Like, Shalane and I watch every new Honest Trailer that comes out. They're hilarious. They're so good that for the Deadpool Honest Trailer, they got Ryan Reynolds to be in it. He's like, hold on, let me take over here. And they show the clips of the movie while they... It has got spoiler alert all over it. Like, you're gonna...
Right.
If you want to see the movie...
Who's the bad guy in it?
In what?
In the new Deadpool movie.
Oh, in the newest one?
Yeah.
It's gonna be Black Tom Cassidy, and they're gonna possibly weave Juggernaut into it.
Oh.
Like, that's what they're talking about. That there's rumors of Juggernaut. Like, I think they're trying to keep that under wraps, but they're gonna have, because it's gonna have Cable, it's gonna have Domino. I'm trying to think of they're trying to work it all into being an X-Force movie at some point. Not it, but down the road. Deadpool 2 will lead the way into just
franchise.
Just like Iron Man.
I'm guessing they're gonna try to. I'm guessing they're gonna try to replace Guardians of the Galaxy with X-Force.
Oh, they can't, because it's two different movie companies. They won't do that. Yeah, because X-Force that's all Fox property. That's another thing. I'm so over this back and forth. Like, we've all read the comics and know everybody should be able to be in everything. So I think Stanley's dying wish should be that both movie companies just say, all right, you know what? Like, let's cut the bullshit and let's put all this stuff into one. Let's finally make it work where we can put Wolverine into a...
That'll never happen, because Sony is like a conglomerate. So you'd have to... How would they even get...
They shared Spider-Man with... They did the contract. See, if Sony is able to share the contract
they had no choice.
With,
they had no choice.
With the Avengers, then because that's the thing is, okay, Wolverine is in the Avengers now, so they I'm surprised they haven't found some loophole of like, okay, Wolverine is an entity, okay, like they did Quicksilver, he exists in both, so they couldn't just say you can't make him. It's like, yes, you can, because he's in both. So if they could at least pull Wolverine, I don't even care if they have any of the rest of the X-Men in, which I kind of do a little bit, because I want to see a Marvel Illuminati movie at some point. That'd be dope, with Mr. Fantastic.
That would be cool.
Iron Man, Beast, and
before what's his name
Doctor
gets too old.
Yeah.
What's his name? Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, because
okay, so just let's finish up with Lara Croft.
Yeah.
So you said you're not looking forward to it, right?
No, I when I saw the preview that they're doing it, like, I was like, are you kidding? It's like, as soon as it starts out, they're like, she introduced herself in the preview. I'm Laura. What's last name? Croft. And the dude looks up, and I go,
It's just cheesy right off
like
the
I
bat.
was like, are you kidding me? Like, those are the kind. I'll say it like this: those are the kind of movies where, like, if I knew a group of people that wanted to go to it, and like, those movies like that are the reason people still smoke weed and go to the movies. They're like, well, I'm just gonna get all high and go see if this is actually entertaining when I'm high. And I don't smoke weed anymore, so like, I'm not as entertained by shit.
Nah. Okay, I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt because I'm a huge, lifelong hardcore fan of the human weapon genres, so I'm always down to experiment with new franchises.
So what we just talked about a minute and a half, 2 minutes ago, we're talking about X-Force that talks about Cable. Cable's first, this is my segue. Cable's first appearance was in the comic New Mutants 87, which is worth a lot of money as a comic if you have the first print. And I say that because there's a New Mutants coming out.
Yes, and here's what I noticed with the trailer, that it looks like it's going in a scary haunted house kind of American Horror Story kind of style theme, and everybody thinks that it's going to be like about ghosts and stuff. But my theory is
Mark Stone,
because I've only seen one trailer, so my theory with it is that they're going to incorporate Mr. Sinister to be experimenting with New Mutants. And then that would explain why they're messing psychologically with them.
and why the Mr. Sinister stuff makes an appearance at the end of X-Men Apocalypse.
I've never seen that.
Oh, I ruined it for George. Okay, I don't care. I'll ruin it for you.
But that would make sense with the trailer for New
because
Mutants, right?
yes, because at the end of X-Men Apocalypse, the post-credit scene is talking about it's I forget the name of it. Someone can correct me here, but they allude to Mr. Sinister.
Is he all purple?
Yeah, he's the liquid metal dude that
Well, he's a purple guy with the little jewel on his forehead.
yeah, and he's got like the cool like vampire hair.
Did they stick to the comic books?
They don't
version of it?
They don't show him. Let me see what the. Bear with me here. Oh,
yeah,
there it is.
Mr. Sinister. I'm guessing they're going to try to incorporate Mr. Sinister somehow because he's one of the most popular X-Men bad guys, and they could really put him in pretty much anything, and it would make sense.
Yeah, well, that's everything in the Marvel universe, in one way or the other, has been about bridging something into something. I can't find the name of the company. Essex Corps. For Essex Corps, that is Nathaniel Essex is Mr. Sinister. So they kind of, it touches on the whole he's obtaining all this stuff from the Weapon X.
Yeah, he manipulates mutant genes to create hybrid mutants.
So that would be that puts it all together right there.
It would make
that
sense,
explains why. That explains some of the stuff I saw in New Mutants, because in the New Mutants trailer, I was just kind of, I wasn't sure what to think of the whole thing. It was really dark. And
I was just like, there's no way they're going American Horror Story with an X-Men or Marvel property. So that wouldn't make more sense.
Hey Peter, welcome.
Did you watch the Inhumans pilot? I totally skipped it. I knew it was gonna.
I only really care about Black Bolt because he's
one of the Illuminati.
Yeah, he makes
The Illuminati is the first thing I've ever read with Black Bolt. I've always hated all Fantastic Four properties.
There's I'm totally drawing a blank on a comic thing that I just read that involved him. Oh,
well, they've been fighting the
Infinity.
X-Men for like.
After Age of Ultron in the comics, there's a comic series called Infinity, and it involves the Infinity Gems. It's like a newer take on it, and as part of that, it's got Black Bolt is a huge player in that. So if they're gonna, if their idea is to further down the line after Infinity Gems, after Infinity War, to come back and do that. It explains so much why they would do that, because they touch on it. I think I have.
They've been trying to replace the X-Men in the Marvel universe with the Inhumans for about 3 years now, and I don't think they're having much success with it because.
Nobody cares about the Inhumans.
Well, they're not as pliable as the X-Men.
Yeah. I think, here's the thing, too. Okay. I know there's people out there who are like, oh, I love the mystical and the space. All the space stuff in Marvel is, like, boring as shit.
I've always hated
it's super boring. Like,
anything that has to do with Fantastic Four, I've just never even attempted to.
The only reason I even care about Guardians and Doctor Strange is they were dope movies. In the comics,
I didn't like Doctor Strange.
Guardians of the Galaxy was a really boring-ass comic. They're boring as shit. Like, they're so boring. You didn't like Doctor Strange.
I didn't like Doctor Strange. I think it was cast really bad.
With who?
All of them.
You don't like...
No. Doctor Strange should have been like Tony Stark.
He kind of was.
But the charisma... Cumberbatch doesn't have that level of charisma.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay, I gotta... This will be my first, like, real disagreement with George here on...
Show's over.
Show's
over.
Shalane, chime in. I love Benedict Cumberbatch. Well, okay.
Yes, he's incredibly talented. I think him and Matt Smith are the two greatest English exports. But he wasn't cast well for that movie.
I love... I just like say I can't say it because it's gonna make me have to like you can't say like things like this what I'm gonna say on my camera, but
is it gonna be something racist?
No, it's something something adult oriented.
Oh.
But what I call
Oh yeah okay I think we all get it.
Bend your something and something in my batch.
I think we all get where you're going with that.
Shalane can write it on the thing there. Yeah, Tilda Swinton is weird. Shalane said that when we were watching Doctor Strange. She's like, I don't like Tilda Swinton. Hey, do me a favor, Shalane, while you're type in the comments what I call bend your something and come in my something. Like,
I always confuse what's her name? Tilda Swinton. I always confuse her with the chick that's in Ragnarok.
Yeah, see, they all
look kind of they got that androgynous pasty thing.
She said, "Just say it." Bend your dick and come in my batch.
Maturity is overrated.
Yay! Yeah, maturity is overrated, and I love saying that. It makes me so happy just to say that.
Okay, so what's next? Black Panther.
Yeah.
Wait, so New Mutants, Mr. Sinister. That's just a theory of mine. I can't confirm it.
I as soon as you said that, my head went odd. Okay, that's totally like I think that's the only way they can go with it.
Yeah,
I really do. Like that's the only way they can go with it.
And then I thought I saw
Peter says Inhumans was not done well. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't at all.
The blonde chick in New Mutants is what's her name? Colossus' sister. What's her name?
Oh,
that's her, right?
I think it is. It is. So they're gonna.
She's got that magic power.
Not. Oh gosh. I keep on having to pull up my phone to.
But this is just hypotheticals from watching the trailer once, so don't take my word
Magic.
for it. Magic, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That looks like magic, right?
It is her. They do a huge. She's in. They touch on that in some of the newer X-Men comics too.
Well, they brought her back to life because I think she had died sometime in the late 90s, and then they brought her back.
Oh, Peter, we're gonna do it. We're gonna be watching that, and I'll get back to you on that. I have some watching to catch up on. The Gifted.
What's that?
Okay. Real quick before we go into Black Panther. The Gifted is, like, it's what the New Mutants maybe is shooting towards to be. Polaris is in it, who has Magneto's power. It's basically students parents who realize that their kids are mutants, and they have Sentinels in it and everything. It's on FX. It's where they took Legion, and they
I didn't like Legion either.
They parlayed it into the Gifted.
Did you like Legion?
I didn't. It's a lot of work to stay up with Marvel stuff. Like if you're.
I made it 3 episodes in. I didn't even get to the Shadow. What is his name?
Shadow King.
I didn't get to the Shadow King.
If you're watching all the Marvel stuff, Warpath's brother is in there. Oh man, thank you, Peter, for all your because see like there's so much.
They have the same powers, right?
I think so because Warpath is
the original Warpath died during the New Mutants when they try to save him from that island.
Oh,
and then they get the brother for X-Force. right?
Yeah, it's in oh gosh, he's in Days of Future Past. Warpath is in because he can like.
But that's the brother. That's not the original. The original one dies.
Oh
like,
really?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're probably gonna touch on that.
Yeah, the original one was part of like when they launched the Wolverine X-Men for the first time, and then he dies on that island.
Since we're talking about him, Black Panther. And it's sparkly.
Let me see.
Here, we can open it. I don't care.
This is the bottom right too.
Yeah, that's so. I'm opening my pops because I'm gonna keep them anyway. I don't plan on selling these. Yay! Like this little kid. It's just all sparkly. Black Panther.
Black Panther and the Punisher are the only things keeping me interested in comic book stuff. I'm completely oversaturated with it.
Because it's so much work to watch. Like, that was the other thing.
Well, it's just all style over substance, especially the Marvel stuff.
We'll have to do a separate video on what we think about Justice League come out and stuff too.
Oh,
Since you're a
Justice
DC
League
guy.
was I give up on it on the first trailer.
That's gonna be.
You can't make a 2-hour DC movie. It's never gonna be good. It's never gonna. There's way too much.
Do you think DC's better off with The Flash is a good series. Did you watch some of it?
The Flash is great. I watched the first 3 seasons. I liked it. I liked the first season of Arrow.
Yeah, and like see the thing about comics, the magic. Hey Teresa, how you doing? The thing with them with comics that have such a magic to it is the continuity of like I can go buy the next issue. I can't wait for next month. I can't wait for next week or next 2 weeks. When you're trying to cram everything and bow like that in a movie,
well, it's a novella.
It doesn't work.
It's a novella. You can't compress that much.
Especially something that's
Backstory.
intended on going and going and going.
It's designed to do one thing, and you're completely altering it. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, look what happened when they had to edit the Batman v Superman for time. It doesn't make sense after the edits, and with the edits, it makes a little bit more sense.
I think sometimes, hey Nicole, how you doing? As a marketing, we got to keep in mind too that they're doing everything they can to make people want to buy Blu-rays because that's the only way you get the extended and extra footage. And now more than ever, does the extra footage make things make more sense in the movies? Like, okay, people hated Suicide Squad, but I happened to watch it more than once because everybody knew I wanted to see it. And when you see the extra footage, all the stuff with Joker and Harley Quinn, it ties it all into, oh, that's how it was between them. And that got left out of the movie.
Did you like the Leto Joker?
I did. We're Jared Leto fans, so we weren't like going into it. I didn't play the Nirvana card of like, well, Foo Fighters aren't gonna be as good because Kurt Cobain's dead. Like, I'm not gonna play the Heath Ledgers. Like, you know, they had to do it different, and I appreciated how it was the whole reason to watch Suicide Squad because other than that, it's a cheesy ass movie, but the Jared Leto did a really, really...
See, the problem with
he was a whole new Joker, and that was
he
good
wasn't
about
a new
it.
Joker.
You're right, Teresa.
I don't think he wasn't a new Joker. He was what the Joker's supposed to be. See, the Christopher Nolan Batman universe is completely separate from the comic books. Like, it's just everybody just did.
It's Christopher Nolan's vision.
Yeah, everybody just did whatever they wanted to. It's like you can't mess with Americana that much. Like, they completely changed the character. Like, Batman was Rambo with a batsuit and a cave, and the Joker was a sociopath. He's like they pulled him out of the movie Seven or something, and that's not who he is. He's a gangster.
He really is. Like, he's got goons. He's got a. So
they mixed the Riddler and the Joker to create a new Joker.
And when you say that, it makes Jared Leto's Joker look that much better. And
who's closer to the Joker everybody likes the most, the animated series one? Leto or Ledger?
I don't know if I had this conversation with you, but Jared Leto is the first Joker that doesn't crack any jokes at all or does anything actually like quote unquote funny. Even Heath Ledger, he like
No, he just says nihilistic shit.
yeah. Whereas Heath Ledger, he's like, do you watch the pencil? Like, there's things that are because Jack Nicholson, all the Jokers have jokes or something funny.
They're all a version of the Joker because the Joker depends on who writes them. They focus on one part of his psyche a little bit more, and each Joker has been played to represent one of those Jokers.
Yes. Jared Leto is easy on the eyes. He's a handsome devil, and
I think he's like a vampire because he doesn't age.
No,
I think he's in his 50s.
He is. He's still playing with 30 Seconds to Mars.
He was like 35 when he was in My So-Called Life. So
Shalane was just talking about that.
Oh, she is.
Yeah, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, because it is.
I just dated myself.
He is timeless.
Yeah, he's a vampire. He feeds on the blood of the young.
Yeah, the Leto.
So yeah, that's pretty much. We hit Black Panther, right?
Well, a little bit, yeah. Because what we talked about was the idea of you mentioned before we went live here that it's kind of a. It's got an anime feel to it.
It does. It has
futuristic.
I'm worried that there's no way they got that much into detail where Stanley Kubrick would have been like, "Damn," that they're gonna not go style over substance. Have you ever seen a movie where they go that stylistic, where they have a great writing team?
I was just looking comments about Joker still. He did. Jared Leto completely immerse himself as the Joker. Like
We can have a poll, see how many times they reference Malcolm X. I think.
Oh,
every Netflix show that is predominantly African American, they always reference Malcolm X or Martin Luther.
They do, and you're talking about Black Panther, right?
Like a lot. I'm talking about Luke Cage, The Get Down.
Oh yeah, they do totally.
Like with the first episode.
Like they'll show like a mural or something. They're like, oh, yeah. Like, here's the. I wonder if they're gonna reference Black Panther or one of them.
That's the bet. How far into the movie?
Yeah, are they gonna reference? That's gonna be our side bet. Do you guys think that they're gonna reference Martin Luther King or Malcolm X in the new Black Panther movie? Which does. It makes me care about him. Like, Marvel's doing a good job of making me care about characters that I normally don't care about. Because Black Panther is a really boring character in the comics. Like, maybe it's my attention span, but like I think the best comics.
Yeah, you see it in a positive note, but I see that they're so one-dimensional that they have to get the least. The people with the less amount of powers, the people nobody knows, because those are like the most, well-written characters. Whereas you can't do a good Iron Man movie and follow it up because he's so one-dimensional. Captain America's the same way. So is the Hulk. You can't just do a good story with them because they were written for the age of radio.
Yeah, because they're meant to be because they're feats of strength.
Yeah, they're meant to be frenetic, but you can't do a good story. You can't do a prolonged story.
Yeah, that will be because
every Marvel character that has had success is written like a DC character, or it's a ripoff of a DC character.
I would say that, but
it's true though.
Well, Hulk is that Hulk is a different read. Like, I don't know if I think that Hulk is so much like that because he a lot of heroes like they seem to like having their powers. Hulk doesn't really like having the power of being the Hulk. Like, he never does. He's like there's so many comics of where Bruce Banner is just like pretty much I would do anything to have this not be my power.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. Every single episode is just every single comic where it's just he's the brooding sad that's guy, and then he has to save a damsel in distress.
That is why they're doing doing all this to everything's an effort to bring people in together into each other's movies. Like, that's why, because if people are one, that's why I still haven't watched the new Spider-Man. That's why having Iron Man in it creates another dimension. The chemistry between characters is what seems to be more powerful to work with now for movies versus what happens with each character. Even Deadpool, like, they didn't have him just by himself. They at least brought Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Mutant Ninja
Is she an
Turtle.
actual character in the comics?
She's not very famous. It was that's another thing Marvel's doing, is they're taking characters that really aren't that well known, and they're, because you can't judge it. We as comic fans can't sit there and hey Melissa,
Kid Omega would have been a great ad.
we can't like
universe.
sit there and dissect a character that people don't know that well. That's why New Mutants could be so good, because I don't know how many people out there like New Mutants is my favorite. Like,
Do you think that type of show will do well if it's just 90% drama? Do you think that the way the
I
fans
used to
they
say-
need a level of action?
I used to think no, but I alluded to it a while back here on our thing. What's up, Felipe? Funniest man on Facebook. That Jessica Jones changed the scope of that. Like,
What do you mean?
did you see Jessica Jones?
Yes.
It's really like it's dark, and the people just want to see how far that character as a person goes. Like, I think now more than ever, casting is huge.
Casting has always been my issue with
Like-
Netflix and HBO.
Like, if the right person isn't that's what does make Daredevil good. Is Charlie Cox is a good Daredevil. That's why Daredevil sucked as a movie, because Ben
Yeah,
Affleck
but
sucked.
the chick is a horrible actor, and then the comedic relief, I don't get why he's there.
Wait, the Foggy.
Foggy, freaking, isn't he Goldberg, the goalie?
Oh, I think so.
See, whenever I see him, I can't not see Goldberg the goalie.
It is hard to get past that. Like, it's that's a good question. We're gonna need to start writing all these down so we have them more for a while. We've hit beyond the 50-minute mark. Like, we've actually we've got you guys. You guys have been really cool for watching this long, and kind of but everybody's chimed in, and like people have thrown in some really cool things to kind of add to the debate. Like, on all these topics, we're gonna be doing some more debates and some more. We want more interaction from people. We're working on all of that at once. Peter says he wasn't the goalie. Foggy wasn't that.
They look alike.
Yeah, that's probably why. So I think you're right, Peter.
Somebody Google this. I want Google confirmation.
Here, let me go.
Who is that? Who is just look up the actor Foggy and then look at his IMDb.
Oh, excuse me. All right, here we go. Foggy Undertale. Eldon Henson is him. Huh. You're thinking of him for Mighty Ducks, huh?
Mighty Ducks.
No, it wasn't him.
Wait. Then he's in another
Oh,
movie.
he was the guy that had the super shot. Okay, so.
Oh yeah. That's what I meant. Goldberg was the fat kid, right? That was on all the Nickelodeon things.
I think so. Let's see here. But
He was in Butterfly Effect too, right? He was like Kutcher's friend.
Dude, this dude's in all kinds of stuff. Okay, so we're doing Mighty Ducks next.
I just watched Mighty Ducks 2 the other day. It still holds up.
The Estevez. You know what's weird to look at? I think Rotten Tomatoes is only legit on movies after like the mid 2000s and up, because Half Baked has a really terrible Rotten Tomatoes score.
Half Baked wasn't good unless you're a stoner and have nostalgia about it.
The only reason I disagree, it's the only stoner movie that has like, it's like an instructional guide for like, it's a how-to. Like, here's what people are like that smoke weed. Like, I guess it's easier to. So he is in it. Eldon Henson is in it. It shows everybody older. Oh,
He's the enforcer.
Oh, okay. Real quick, just for fun, MC Gainey. He's in Con Air. MC Gainey is gonna be in my friend Mike Kelleher's movie coming up. My friend Mike's making a movie called Town of Sawain. MC Gainey is gonna be the voice of a fortune teller booth that actually makes a.
He has like a really raspy voice, huh?
Yeah. It's hard to tell with these younger pictures and all, but Okay, yeah. So yeah, Peter. He said, yeah, the goal, the fact.
Yeah,
guy
yeah,
was,
he's the enforcer
so.
that breaks the limo's window.
Cause I haven't seen Mighty Ducks actually I don't think I've ever seen it all the way through. I never watched sports movies because if all the sports movies from back then are like, yay, like they're gonna win, they're gonna come back, and I don't like the predictability of it.
Well, that's like 90% of all stories.
Oh, my phone's not charging. There it goes. Okay. Anyway, well, we're probably gonna get close. He's got to get ready for work, and we're probably gonna start wrapping this up. Pretty much here. There goes. So, we want to thank you guys for tuning in, and it was cool. It was interesting. Like, it was really cool to like have everybody kind of chime in and